Welcome, guys, to another exciting episode of Before the Green. It's been a couple of weeks, but we are back, and we are fresh out of COTA, where we had an exciting road race, believe it or not. My name is Corey. I'm your lovable co-host. I cheer for the number 5 car, which there's not much to cheer for this week, but there's always next. So, who else we got? Kevyn, are you here?
Oh, my name's Kevyn. I cheer for usually the last place driver, Mr. Ty Gibbs, number 54. Yeah.
What is that facial expression?
I don't think he was ready. Oh no, I gotta say something now.
My name is Evan. I am the final co-host tonight. We are missing Donnie. Once again,
Yes.
I'm recording from a very relaxed position. It's easy to do when you win picks. You're no longer at the bottom of the standings. I'm also the reason for no episode last week, and I cheer for the number 48.
Oh, we're admitting that, are we? I didn't think you're gonna admit that.
Admitting that I cheer for Bowman?
Yeah.
The guy who's 7th in the standings hasn't gone on stage until this weekend without stage points, which this weekend doesn't count because everyone flips the stages.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, that guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm so glad he gives you something to cheer about at the start of the season to get your hopes up, and then you just kind of fades.
Hey man, this is 2022, 2023, or 2024 again.
So we're not still building something. This is the year.
I mean, you're always building, right?
That's
Unless
fair.
you're at the top. But I think we've got a very good foundation at this point. I'm looking for I want to see what we saw in the playoffs last year.
I'm gonna be very interested to see what he can do on an oval that's not like a super speedway and like a road course, obviously, because he was tearing it up last year at the end in the playoffs and
at the beginning of the playoffs.
At the beginning, yeah, until he was,
too light.
A little too light.
I know it, and that's the one area where I really don't resonate with the driver that I picked.
Being too light.
I've never been too light.
Oh man, at least he can keep it off the walls on like another person's favorite driver. But anyways,
at least Ty kept his tires on.
Did, yeah. But it's all right.
You guys want to get into it before we keep making fun of Bowman or Gibbs?
Sure. And Alex would appreciate that.
He does have the prettiest car on the track, though. We'll give him that.
Always.
All right, let's get into After the Checkers. Right into it. All right, a topic that came up last week is that Dodge is potentially making a return to the Truck Series in 2026, with Cup possible in the future. If they do return, is this good for the sport, short or long term? Let's start with you, Corey.
Oh, it's throwing me in the fire. I think it'll be good just because it's a big manufacturer coming in. One of the original, Dodge has been around for a long time before, weren't they? So I think that way for good. I don't think it's that good for Toyota personally, just because they'll give another teams a chance to jump onto Dodge, and Toyota just, I don't know, they haven't won since 2019 as championship, something like that. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting for sure. I don't know. I had a lot more to say about this last week, but we missed that episode, so I'm just kind of going blind right now. I had so many facts and stuff to diss Donnie with this topic, but hey.
Well, maybe that's why he knew not to come on this week. He
probably so, right? But I really don't think it's going to be good for Toyota in the long term, just because of I don't know.
Yeah.
Again,
I get
what do you think, Kev?
I think, I mean, without getting into how it's going to affect other manufacturers necessarily, I think it's going to be good for the fans. So, and what I mean by that, if you look at Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, okay, for example, you see a lot of, pitting together, working together, things like that. Well, a fourth manufacturer is really going to shake up that dynamic. and I think that's going to be positive for the fan. Okay.
Yeah.
Secondly, I also think that the more variety of manufacturers we have, the less we're going to see team alliances across the board, right? So, we're not going to see, Hendrick Motorsports supplying a Dodge team with engines, right? So, team like Spire, for example, that's currently running, I believe they run Hendrick engines. Well, all of a sudden, that's one less dynamic that's there. So, if we look back to Martinsville last year where we had that race manipulation issue, well, all of a sudden, hey, maybe we don't have, two Chevy guys holding up the field for William Byron because all of a sudden there's Dodges that are there instead of Chevys, right? And so I just think in that regard, having a variety of manufacturers is a positive. Not only that, there's lots of Dodge fans out there that perhaps maybe don't have someone that they're cheering for right now or a manufacturer they particularly align with. I think that's good, and I think more money coming into the sport is a good thing. I think it indicates a good health of the sport, and that other manufacturers see a future in it. I just hope that they don't, make that step backward towards command rank.
Yeah. And maybe it will stop this whole let's have less horsepower so a manufacturer can come in. Maybe if they get a couple more, they'll be like, okay, let's ramp it up again. But I doubt it.
Well, I will say, if ever there was a brand that would jump on that, it probably is Dodge, right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at Dodge as a brand, and they are a horsepower brand, right? You've got your Hellcats, you got your SRTs, you got your Demons. You've got all of these particular products that are geared towards, the horsepower enthusiast, we'll say. I think if you want to represent your brand, and that's what your brand is built on, you should probably be pushing for more horsepower. And I would love to see that, man.
Same.
Anything to break up the fields a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got nothing else to say about it.
No,
I really have no opinion being new to the sport. More horsepower does sound like more fun, though. But anyways.
I will tell you this, Kev. I know you're new to the sport. I know this is like your second favorite driver that you've picked. I will tell you, you don't want to be the guy that jumps on Dodge the first year back and expects wins, okay? It takes time. Although, with this car, it's actually probably going to take the least amount of time ever because it's essentially the same as long as they get reliable engines and the same amount of horsepower. But
here's a question. What team do you think would jump ship?
I don't know. I think it's going to want to be someone that's a 4-car team or a 3-car team, right? Like, you need to have your flagship. Penske was Dodge before, but I don't see Ford being
I don't, why would Penske leave right now?
Right. I don't see that being advantageous. So I think you could look at someone like a Front Row Motorsports, possibly, or a Spire. It's going to be or maybe a colleague, right? It's got to be someone that has funding and is running, mid-pack or back and wants to invest to move forward. And I think that's probably who it would be. Like, RCR is too invested in Chevy, HMS is too invested in Chevy, or whoever Chevy changes their name to if they don't run Chevys.
Yeah, I don't see Chevy changing at all, like any teams.
JGR is not changing.
See, I'm not convinced on that. I don't know.
No?
I'm not convinced. I mean, they used to be Chevy. Like, they look at the drivers they've had that haven't really performed. Like, Denny Hamlin has not won a championship in a Toyota, which is a shame in all reality. I just don't think they had arguably the best driver, Kyle Busch. He managed to get 2 of them, but besides him and Martin Truex there, I don't know.
And Truex, he wasn't a JGR car either.
Yeah, that's right too. Yeah. But to me, if you can't get it done with any, there's been some top tier talent at JGR, and there's only been one guy win a championship with them, and to me, that's just I don't know. It's just.
I will say I do think format plays into it a bit, particularly what we got now, right?
It does, but just I don't know.
I was watching something the other day, and they said they almost consider getting to the championship 4 to be the equivalent of winning a championship, in the sense that like the last race is such a gimmick that it almost holds as much credibility.
But of course, someone who says that who's never won it, like,
Well, he wasn't an actual NASCAR driver. He was.
Okay, I thought you said JGR. It's just someone in JGR.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. Although I'm
I
sure
don't know.
they have similar opinions.
I just really think that they have underperformed with the talent they've had. So
That could be interesting.
yeah.
I mean, if that happens, then I guess you would have to think that 2311 or
I was actually thinking 2311 would make a move.
I'll be honest with you. If I don't see anyone there that would have like a huge alliance to Toyota other than Denny. And I don't think he has as big of a say. Like, Dodge is going to come in looking for a big fish, right?
Oh, for sure, because they're going to want to start right from they're not going to want to come in and struggle for 5 years, right? Like they're going to come in and be like, all right, we want to win now.
Right.
So,
especially if they bring in their Ram brand, like in the truck series, they're going to want to win trucks quick.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll know if Donnie has listened to the episode next week if he's on. So, because I'm sure he'll have something to say about that. But, all right. Let's move on, Kevin.
All right. So, talking about Toyota's not performing well and JGR, Christopher Bell has now gone back-to-back to start the year. The other JGR teams have not had near the luck, the Danny Hamlin being the only other driver in the top 20. Is it too early to be high on Christopher Bell, or is it just too early to be low on JGR? Let's start with you, Ev.
All right. Well, I said at the beginning of last year that I thought Christopher Bell was going to win the championship. I still believe he's that caliber of a driver. That team, for the most part, has stayed relatively unchanged. If anything, they should be stronger given some of the off-season changes in the, like with Chris Gabehart moving up, as far as the overall infrastructure. I think if you look at those around him as far as his teammates and stuff, Ty Gibbs he's just coming into his third year. He's just getting to the point where, I think we all expected him to win before now, but I feel like the third season is kind of where it's like, all right, man, you're either putting up or shutting up, right? Not saying he won't have a ride and that he won't get wins if he doesn't get one this year, but I think this is the year where it kind of determines how people feel about him. Chase Briscoe's just jumping into that team, so we're not expecting a huge performance out of him right away. And then, likewise, Denny's the other guy, and we expect a lot out of Denny, but Denny's got a new crew chief. Denny's got split focus with his own team. And let's be honest, Denny's, 45, 44? Denny's not a young man.
Yeah, I don't know if he's quite that old, but he's 40s for sure.
Yeah, he's the oldest guy in the sport, so, I mean, I don't think it's too early to be high on Christopher Bell. I also do think it's a little too early to be necessarily down on JGR as far as, what they're putting on the track. But I don't think that as an organization as a whole that we should expect much out of the other three cars in comparison to what we should expect out of them.
No, and I said, it's we've had 2 speedways and a road course. It's hard to really get a judge of what a team's at right now. But I mean, Christopher Bell is, you can't knock him. He's in a league of his own right now. I mean, Atlanta's kind of locked, but at the same time, it's not. He was in the right spot at the right time. No, but he said it himself. He's like, we weren't expecting Atlanta. We were prepared for COTA, and it showed. Like the last 30 laps, he was the best car on the track. It was pretty obvious that he was going to win that race if nothing crazy happened. As much as I love to pick on Donnie for him, like I said, with the whole JGR thing, if he doesn't win a championship in the next 2 years, there's a problem. Or like the next, let's give him 5 years. So it's just. Yeah, again, it's too early, I think. We'll see what happens after Phoenix and Vegas, I think.
Truthfully, we talk about how they hit on all cylinders at these last 2 tracks, but they were only, half a lap from winning Daytona, too? He was spun from the lead, was he not? Or the front of that outside
line? Yeah, he was up there, for sure.
Like, he brought out that last caution, did he not? Where...
Yeah, he did.
Where
he went into the wall and he got into... Chase there, I think.
Right.
Elliott.
So, he was fast there too. Like, the reality is, had he not got wrecked there, or whatever happened, it's very real opportunity that we could be talking about the fact that he's already won 3 races. So, I mean, that's luck of the draw a little bit with speedway racing. As much as it cost him 1 week, it benefited him the next.
Mhm.
But like, that team is firing on all cylinders right now. Not just him, but everyone involved. And
Oh, like starting off, like
Oh.
yeah, he could
I don't
put
think
it.
it's too early for him. And he's
No,
so
I don't. He could put together a season like one of the
Right.
best all time. Like to win 2 of the first 3 races, like yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
it's not like
crazy
Bayern
to
where you
watch.
expect him to lull in the summer. Like, we
That's it,
expect
right?
him to perform all year.
Yeah. So we'll see. Should be fun to watch. I know Donnie's loving it, but
Hey, I like the point too.
I mean, he's definitely like yeah, exactly. But I mean, like he's definitely driving the chip on his shoulder. I think from last year, and I mentioned to Donnie today too. Like even he was in dirt cars over the off season. Like he's coming in behind a wheel, right? Like he hasn't had that 3 months off. Like he's in mid season form, I'd say, at the start of the season, and it's
It's showing.
I hope he doesn't get too good. I want Larson to win a couple of races.
Well, I'm sure Larson will put in a full season this year. Anyways, next
Supposed
topic.
But I mean, all real, like between Christopher Bell and Larson, they're the 2 best guys on the track right now, and like overall, maybe not Larson right at the moment, but by the end of the season, it's probably going to be Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson fighting it out. But
As much as I know we don't
We'll see.
necessarily love William Byron, though, like, you've got to give the guy credit. He's right there.
he is, but he's going to prove he can run in the summer too.
I agree. 100%.
Just like Larson in the spring, right? Has to.
Hey man,
never mind.
be good where you're good.
Yep. Anyways, and just a heads up, Denny Hamlin is 44. So
Is he 44? Okay.
Yep. So he is a little bit up there.
Now, did I say 44?
Yeah, you did.
You said 45 first, so
I think I said 45, 44. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so next topic. COTA saw our first road course action of the season. We witnessed the NASCAR series run the shorter national circuit for the first time. There was a little in the way of chaos, but what were your thoughts on the race? And did you think Chastain was too aggressive on turn 1? Let's start with you, Corey.
what do I think of the race? I thought it was a great race. For a road course, you go into it not expecting a whole lot, personally. Usually a lot of non-passing and guys stretched out over the whole course, but I enjoyed it, even though my driver was in the back both my drivers were in the back the entire time. So for me to still enjoy a race and have that, like, it was a good race. And Chastain just being Chastain, I don't know, definitely too aggressive, but that's the way he races. I know he kind of scaled it back a little bit last year, but I think that's going to wear off. He's going to be back to the Ross of old, and personally, I'm all for it. It gives us something to talk about. I mean, like, that's what I want to see guys doing. Like, just drive how you drive. Like, like, don't worry about everything else. You're there to win, and just, yeah. I mean, I'm sure Chase Elliott has something else to say about him, but put in the same situation, Chase Elliott would probably do the exact same thing, same as all these guys, right? Like, you got to take your opportunities where you think you can see them, and sometimes it works, and sometimes you're not everyone's best friend.
I think I would say if it was like later in the race, you might see some of these guys.
Turn 1, yeah, but at the same time, Carson Hocevar almost spun Bubba out at the front at the exact same time too. So I mean, like, but against Hocevar as well. But
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, you got to know where these aggressive guys are, and that's it's racing, man. He wasn't the only one that spun out yesterday. Like,
No. So I guess I kind of jumped in on the second part, but I actually thought it was probably the best race we've had at COTA thus far.
it was the best race I've seen.
Yeah, me too.
And I'll be honest, like, from the very beginning of the race until, like, basically 2 turns to go, I never knew for sure who was going to win. I thought many times, like, I thought SVG was going to be the dominant guy. Then I thought it was going to be Kyle Busch. And then Bell got by him, and for a few laps, I'm like, okay. But then
I thought Byron was going to get him there too at the end.
Yeah.
Like, it was.
I thought Byron was going to get him, and then Reddick was going to follow him through. Like, I didn't know for sure who was going to win till the end. And I've been watching the races on recording lately because I have something else going on Sunday afternoons that I can't miss right now. Easy there, Minecraft. I see you shaking your head, Kevin.
Evan's living his passion as a dancer now, an interpretive dancer.
Yeah, that's what it is. But I was normally I know ahead of time who won. I'm so glad I didn't look yesterday to see, because I think it really would have robbed me of the excitement of that end. And there was some really surprising things happened yesterday. Bubba Wallace winning stage 1. Did not see that happen on a road course.
Priest running stage 2.
Priest winning stage 2, not as unexpected. Like, Bubba's known to not be a good road racer, right? Like,
yeah.
And it wasn't pit strategy. He led the whole stage pretty much, did he not?
Bubba? No, it was pit strategy. All the leaders,
all the leaders went into the pits,
and he just happened to take the.
Oh yes, but he did lead a little bit at the beginning, did he not?
No, he gave it to Reddick right away.
Okay.
He was in second for a while, but he didn't.
No, I think he was lead. He did lead.
Maybe,
I think he led right near the start for the first 2 or 3 laps, and then Reddick took him. I think so.
He said the day before he was going to give it to Reddick right away, so at turn 1. So I don't know.
Well, to be fair, if you're you might as well learn what you can. But I think he could pass him there for.
He might have.
And then obviously, I was pretty bummed about Alex's situation, and he came back at the end. Finished.
Talk about unlucky, though, eh?
What's that?
Talk about unlucky.
Oh.
Like,
if we didn't have bad luck, we'd usually have none. So, but that was that looked to me like a completely different mindset from what we usually see. Sometimes I feel like that team almost gives up a little bit. Like, they don't, they get a little adversity and they just pull through it. His name was Chase Elliott. He finished 4th yesterday.
4th, yeah.
And that was a fantastic result for him. So it was actually a really, really good race. I like road course racing anyway. I'm not one of these people that thinks we can only be on ovals. I like road course racing, but yesterday was a great example of how good our road course racing can be at times.
And there was all the good cars could pass. What I've seen, anyways, I didn't hear any of them complain about not being able to pass, which is usually a big thing in road courses.
Village went from 30 something to 14th in the second stage,
before his teammate took him out.
Yeah.
Good old Suarez.
I don't think Trackhouse had the result they wanted yesterday from Zillage, Suarez, Van Gisbergen, and Chastain. Chastain was their. I guess he didn't finish as good as Van Gisbergen, but I mean, everyone pegged Van Gisbergen to get a road course win this year. If that's the type of equipment they give him, it ain't gonna happen. Yeah. Our guys are too good at this point to get caught in the Van Gisbergen trap when he doesn't have great equipment.
Yeah. So Zillage, though, I know we don't talk about him, but
man, he was
for
an
18-year-old kid, holy smokes.
Yeah, he's got potential to be the next best thing.
How far away do you think he is from Cup?
Oh,
year or 2?
I would say by the time he turns 20.
Yeah.
I don't think you can afford not to, especially
not with that road racing talent. Why wouldn't you have him in Cup if he can come out at 18 years old and be like, hey, let me chances are he would have been right there top 5 yesterday if it wasn't bad luck right from the start.
And you can't tell me that Red Bull doesn't want to be in Cup where Monster Energy is.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, so
be
interesting.
Monster's up there, and I think Celsius is too. Are they not? I think Celsius races up too.
Yeah, they're AJ's Allmendinger, I think.
Yeah, so Red Bull's going to want to be there, and I think he's the guy that they want to take him there.
Which they should be.
That's who I would want to be taking me there. Yeah.
So now, does Trackhouse basically have the rights to him, or I don't know how it exactly works? But
actually, truthfully, I don't know either on that. Because is he driving for JRM this year? I think so, right? Yeah. So I think Trackhouse has the rights to him, and they're kind of using JRM to get him up there. But you think about it, Suarez is in a contract year, as far as we know, right?
Okay.
Who are you gonna take?
I'm taking Suarez off the car. That's
Yeah. Like,
apart from having the international appeal, like, yeah, I'm putting Zilligent, but I'm sure he does too. I don't know where he's from, but doesn't sound American. I don't know.
I think he is though. I think he's from.
Okay, probably is, but
But yeah, it is definitely a unique name.
unique for sure. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
no,
I think
man, how can you not put him in a car?
right.
Like he's gonna bring and I think NASCAR needs to be like, all right, this is the next guy. Like showcase him, like start putting him out there. But
Actually, NASCAR needs to start showcasing drivers.
anybody, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's American.
Is he American? Okay.
I thought he was. So. I thought he was from North Carolina, but
yep.
Mooresville,
Charlotte.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So
yeah, no, it was a good race. It did not disappoint. And now I don't really know the difference between. I don't remember last year how much different the track was. Like I can't really comment on that, but
it was like an extra mile long.
Yeah, I just don't remember the turn. Like for as much different the passing zones or.
Truthfully, like we got all the same passing zones, in a sense, other than like the really acute angle getting onto the main backstretch there, the really long stretch. It was really just another couple S's, and then you went down over the little knoll and back onto that backstretch. We really didn't cut off anything that we didn't see. You know what I mean? Like we saw the S's and we saw the stretch. Like I don't find we missed much.
Speaking of not mixing much, sorry, Kevin, but I gotta give props to Fox. Like all 3 races so far this year, I don't think we've had one commercial that wasn't a side-by-side during the race, like green flag laps.
I think you're right, actually.
I don't know if that's a thing they're doing this year. I hope it is, but like it's. Props to them for actually maybe listening to your fans, but.
Yeah.
And like I don't know about for you guys, but I actually paid attention to the commercials yesterday because there was racing on at the same time. Like it's just.
Well, as someone who was watching the recorded, I still skipped the commercial.
Oh yeah, it's fair enough, but
right, like there's no commentary. You can see what's happening anyway. So.
Yeah.
So do you guys think NASCAR dropped the ball? And all this is on a side note when it came to like the track limits and stuff. Because I heard there was quite a bit of disgruntled. Oh yeah,
turn 6 was a big issue. All the drivers thought there was limits on that, and turns out it was 6A or 6B or something. I don't know how they called it, but
yeah,
they figured out mid race, and then the guys were all over the place in 6.
But
there was no calls during the Xfinity race too, right? And then
honestly, I think I just think it's ridiculous that we have to have confusion every week about the rules.
It doesn't have to be that hard, right? Like,
no.
Like, all right, guys, this turn right here, there's track limits. This one, there's not. Like, or like, hey, run a car out. Be like, all right, everybody watch how we run this. I don't know. It's just, it could be so easy, but.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but it's annoying.
I know. Well, for Kyle Busch leading the race, like obeying track limits in turn 6, and then he was like, "Oh, I don't have to do like that." That had huge implications, maybe. Like like he could have, but.
Yep. And
that's a veteran of her sport, like.
Right, and if half the field believes one thing and half believes the other, that means you didn't clarify very well.
Exactly.
Like, you did not communicate it.
But that's NASCAR. Hopefully they'll smarten up.
I doubt it.
All right, and for our final topic of discussion, Austin Cindric and Ty Dillon had an on-track interaction that resulted with Austin being pushed off the track, coming onto the main straightaway, only to have him get into Ty Dillon and spin him off the track. Do you feel this was intentional on Austin Cindric's part? And if so, do you expect to see any penalty? Let's go to you, Ev.
I don't think there's any way that we could possibly think that it wasn't intentional.
No,
I think it was clear as day. I remember 2021, I think it was, at Road America. We saw Noah Gragson do something similar. Also, shout out to that guy for getting a good run.
I was going to say.
We saw him do something similar, cause a big wreck, and took out a lot of cars, but also, just put a lot of people at risk unnecessarily. I'm not a fan of, hitting a car in such a way that it goes across in front of traffic. I mean, I realize we're playing with, a lot of safety features and stuff like that, but I don't think just because it's not an oval that should be a permitted exercise. Do I think it probably warrants the same punishment on a road course? No. But, you could have easily gave that guy a pass through or, some form of punishment for that because it was not even up for debate. Um, it was clearly intentional, and we saw him do the same thing. He did it to Austin Dillon last year.
Yep.
And everyone said it was intentional, and he denied it, and he didn't get penalized for it at Iowa or Gateway, wherever it was. So this is not something that is, abnormal to Austin Cindric. He obviously has that impulse in him. And so I think it does need to be addressed. I don't think it needs to be addressed with a suspension because it was on a road course this time. But I think you've got to send that message loud and clear that just because we're on a road course doesn't mean you can all of a sudden right hook a guy into the wall.
But how do you send a message without penalize? Like,
Yeah,
they're not going to learn their lesson if you just say, no, don't do that again. You know what I mean?
I agree, but at least send the message: hey, we're watching you, Austin Cindric. You've done this a few times now. I don't know how you punish it. I'm not gonna put that necessarily out there as far as what I think is, because I haven't thought about it. But yeah, I do think that just because it's on a road course doesn't mean that it gets a pass.
No. Stern warning,
I don't know. I just expect a call to Kyle Larson this week apologizing. That's all.
It's funny how it always seems to be the guys who complain the most.
Seems like
last week we saw Chastain, talking to Hocevar, having his issue. Then he does what he does on lap 1. We saw Cindric talking about how Kyle Larson ran him at Atlanta, and then this week he does that.
It happens. Nobody's perfect. You're in the heat of the moment, racing for a win. Like, things are going to get a little out of hand once in a while, but you do have to, you got to clean up a bit. But at the end of the day, these guys are going to race, and I don't know.
100%.
It's tough. It's tough.
That's why I think it's so interesting, like, when they all get out of the car and they act as if they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Because everybody in that field will do the exact same thing if they have. And I don't care what Donnie says, Christopher Bell would do the exact same thing, too, if he needed to. So, I mean, it's just...
Yeah. I think the only difference between Christopher Bell and, like, I'll give Christopher Bell credit. I like Christopher. He's the one Toyota driver that I'm actually like, pretty decent. One thing I will say about him, I don't find he's ever intentionally dirty.
No, he's not.
He will, he'll use you up for a win or something like that a little bit, but not to a dirty level.
No.
And I find that separates him a little bit.
Because he doesn't like confrontation. Anyone talks to him, he looks like he's about to cry, the poor kid. Like,
yeah, but to be fair, I mean, he's in those moments, if he puts a lot of effort into racing clean, he's actually probably very disappointed with himself. What I mean, when he messes up. Like, I will tell you yesterday, when he got into Kyle Busch's door, that was a mistake. And I know it was because he was so far out of the gas that he almost got passed by Byron. You know what I mean?
But, like, he's got, like, it can do him discredit, too. Like, he could have lost that race yesterday for being too timid. Like, there was a point in the race I was like, is he even going to try to pass this guy? Like, does he want to win or what? But it's just, there's a line, but anyway, at the end of the day, you want to see these guys racing hard and going for the wins and stuff like that, as long as no one's not too outrageous, right? But so, yeah,
cool.
What about you, Kev?
Any thoughts?
Go all the way to topic 1 and give us your thoughts on all.
Wait, like topic 1? Oh no, man, I got nothing.
Do you have anything, Dad?
No, I just laughed some of the race when Larson lost his tire.
Like that will happen to almost every driver this year. You'll see.
Yeah,
That's just again. As long as
Yeah.
we're good at the tracks we're supposed to be good at, I'll be okay at the end of the year.
Don't need to win every race in this
That's
format.
right.
All right.
Mind you, Christopher Bell might say something different right now. But I hope not. All right, for the green, let's go.
All right. So this is our first oval race of the season as we head into Phoenix. It's also the same
Can
track.
I just say something real quick? What a terrible first oval race we're going into. Like,
We'll
right?
get you that.
Oh man. Okay, that's it.
It's also the same track that will determine our champion later in the season. How much do you... Okay, sorry. Our guy doing the outline doesn't know
It's
how to
okay.
use
I
grammar.
understand. I used to be you.
Yeah. How much do you think this weekend will tell you about the future of the season?
About
Let's start with you,
not
Corey.
not much. Again, it's Phoenix. Not a lot of passing. It's not a great oval. I don't know why our championship is there. I don't think it's going to tell us too much about the championship race either. I don't think a lot of these guys are going to want to show their cards this early. I mean, I know Bell won it last year. Like, driving away from everybody, from what I recall, is pretty dominant, wasn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah. So, I mean, and then, I know he wasn't racing for a championship there at the end, but he definitely didn't have the speed he did in the spring. So, I don't know. I don't think you can put too much into like the championship race here, but I don't know. Evan might have something different to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you're Penske and you know you do well here, I think you come here and try to do well because it locks you into the playoffs, right?
It does, but do you want to give the other teams a false sense of hope? Like, oh, maybe they lost it this year. Like, I just don't feel like you show everything for sure.
No, I don't think you show everything, but I think Penske comes there and they're like, okay, we got to qualify well, and then we'll just maintain the front. We're not going to run 100%, but maybe 95, 94.
We'll see.
The reality is, I don't care who tells you differently. NASCAR is never going to hold the championship race and at the end of the race be like, oh yeah, they didn't actually win. They cheated. I guarantee you, every car goes there cheated up to the nines in the fall.
100%. They don't in the spring.
Right. So I don't think it really matters in the same way because they're not coming there the same way they come in the spring. So I think Penske's going to show up and probably run quite well. I think probably see Bell do well there, probably a few others, but I don't know. I think you'll probably get a somewhat of a feel for what we'll see on like the flatter tracks, like your gateways. Iowa's kind of pretty banked, but New Hampshire,
yeah.
I think that's what you're going to see a lot of. We're going to know who's going to do well on those flat, shorter ovals.
I think you'll get a lot of teams that's not Penske going to try different things this week.
Absolutely.
Sure. So
we'll have to see if
any
the
of them.
HMS cars come with their different paint scheme.
Yeah.
Conspiracy of the year.
Yes. Starting it off early.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. It's Phoenix. I'm not holding my breath on a whole lot of excitement, but hopefully be better than previous races.
Yes.
I guess this is my turn now, doesn't it? We're on to picks.
It is.
Oh man, that's what I get for taking Ty Gibbs. Man, can we just say how bad of a start he's having compared to Christopher Bell?
Oh man.
I will say not really his fault. He's just people have got him in some bad situations, but
to be fair,
he did finish
that was where I kind of thought, okay, he can turn it around here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it wasn't a bad pick. If you hadn't picked him, that was who I was picking.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but he couldn't get past 15th even when he was driving good. So I don't know I think he's a guy who needs to turn around. I know his seat is pretty secure, but I don't know forever. All right, let's talk picks for Phoenix. Well, Evan Locke got his first win going big with Tyler Reddick at COTA with a big third place. I didn't think you were going to get there for a little bit. I was kind of chuckling, but anyways, Donnie somehow squeaked out a second place with Bowman, came back from the dead last to 9th. Kevyn with Chastain at 12th, who had an interesting day with trying to stay away from Chase Elliott. And I, of course, brought up the rear with Ty Gibbs, who came in 34th place. He spun out at the end. He got spun out at the end, didn't he? I think he was running like 15th, but either so,
he
I
was
still would
running
pick
good.
last. Yeah. So, but saying all that, I am still in the lead, so it's hard to be too disappointed. I got 2 points, and Donnie and Evan both have 1. And well, Kevyn, we won't make any comments about that. But hey,
this is my week.
This is your week, buddy.
Yep, this is my week.
Too bad it's going to be mine. But anyways, all right, picks. Evan Locke, you have first pick. Who you taking, bud?
All right, I am going with the guy who who barely missed out on a championship here last year. I'm going with Ryan Blaney.
Ryan Blaney hasn't lost me a point yet this year, so.
Well, hoping for the same. I would take 2 with him.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with 2.
I wanted to, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, he's never finished outside the top 5 here, I don't think, with next gen, has he?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so he runs well. Donnie, well, he is not here tonight, but he phoned in his pick. And I thought he said Harrison Burton, but I mean he doesn't run Cup anymore, so I must have heard wrong. So we're gonna give him William Byron, which this is time to pick him.
It is.
All right, it's the spring.
Yeah, we got to get it over sooner than later.
Kevyn Stahlbaum, your pick. You got 2 big ones.
Yeah.
Making a 3 or what?
Yeah, I'm going to make a third big pick. It's going to be Joey Logano.
Joey Logano, the other Penske driver. So you guys are going for Penske showing all their cards this week then?
Nope, not all of them.
Just most of them. Oh, just enough. Okay. All right. Well, those are 3 big picks. Not going huge, but I think Chase Briscoe wants to show what he can do, and he's won here before, so not a layup, but it's a strategic pick. Let's go with. So we'll go with Chase Briscoe.
That's a sneaky good pick.
It is sneaky good, isn't it?
That is. I like it. I don't like it a whole lot. Like, I don't know why you guys wouldn't all lay back this week. I went big at the very beginning.
I mean, you know what? I laid back a lot last year when Donnie made these big picks and stuff, so it's like, and that didn't really work, so my strategy's different this year.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be very happy if he didn't get points with Byron.
Right?
Donnie last year performed really well at the beginning of the season, then throughout the playoffs, which that's no surprise.
He did good, but Byron's a really good pick here too. Like said, he's just start of the year just seems to be his time for whatever reason. I don't know if the tracks just line up good for him or if he's just super focused or what, but
yeah, no bad picks this week. The other thing too, because we changed up our points a bit this year, where if you pick the race winner,
that it does change it, yeah.
Right, because now it's like, okay, well, if I pick the winner, that's all I got to do. If I pick the winner, I haven't burnt my pick.
Unfortunately, I haven't had no success at yet, but one of these days,
that's my goal.
To beat me.
I want to,
pick the winner before me. That's all right.
You should get a different hat then.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Austin Dillon last year, I would have won, but oh well.
Yeah, that's true.
He took Denny out when I had him at Richmond.
Yeah. Well, anything you guys want to talk about before we bounce?
No, I think that's it.
I just want to know, can you actually bounce, Evan?
Yeah. I guarantee if I fall from far enough, I will bounce.
Yeah.
That's everything for me now.
Miss you, Donnie. A little.
Well, thank you to everyone out there for listening. We love having you tune in each and every week and hope that you enjoy it as well. Then again, probably wouldn't make much sense for you to listen if you didn't, so there is that. As we head off to Phoenix, make sure to subscribe to our Facebook and Instagram pages. They will keep you up to date on everything that we're doing each week. Additionally, make sure you follow us on Spotify and YouTube or wherever else that you enjoy listening to podcasts. And we'll see you next week. Later, guys.
Bye.